So today, look for what it is you're gonna master. Okay? Now go, Sarah.
Commit to the 80-20 principle.
I'm going to focus on my big rocks.
Has anybody ever heard that before?
From you.
And a professor at college.
And a professor at college. Seriously.
The big rocks, the sand, the pebbles, I'm sure you've seen the
Yeah,
analogy.
this is not a real estate principle. This is a human principle. And anything that you do in your life, your personal life, your business life, whatever it is, focus on that 20%. You gotta figure out what your big rocks are first.
Move from E to P.
I am purposeful about breaking through my ceiling of achievement.
We're gonna show that one here in a minute because it's my favorite of all of them. Number 4.
Make being learning based the foundation of your action plan.
I'm willing to be taught and also pursue learning.
Remove your limiting beliefs.
I unlimit my thinking and my success.
Be accountable.
It's mine, I own it.
Okay, so simply, if y'all look at these 6 steps, pick out which one fits you today, being in this room. Just think about it for a minute. Maybe you want to move from being entrepreneurial to purposeful. Maybe there's something in your business
There it
that you need
goes.
to get more purposeful about.
There it goes.
It wants to update.
Do you want me to hold that? And I'll click it on for you.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
a
Good
great
idea.
Liz is gonna figure it out.
They said there's an update thing that keeps popping up.
We could probably tell it.
We just can't do it right now.
Surely it's not my computer.
No.
No, it specifies TV.
Surely it's not my Mac. Okay. All right, so it could be there's something that you need to get purposeful about today. And it may have nothing to do with training, but there's gonna be something that you hear in this room. Oh, I didn't catch it.
It was Verizon, or the Vizio
Oh, okay.
TV update.
So get one in mind, and I just want you to write it on some paper, write it on your notes, wherever you're taking it down. Write down what is the one thing. It could be you wanna be held accountable to something you've learned today. You may go to Deanie and go, hey, I think I have something I wanna teach, or something I wanna put in a small group. I wanna create a community around. Maybe you're a husband and wife team and you wanna create a community around husband and wife teams and how they do business together. Okay, so whatever that is, write it down, and I'm gonna leave it there for a second. Did Robin and Ashley leave? They will be back at noon with a baked potato bar,
Yummy.
That sounds good.
just saying. If you're good with the screen and you're done, raise your hand. Good, well, wait a second. I'm glad I brought my jacket, cause I'm always hot in here.
That's cool.
I'm cold.
Mark's cold.
Wow.
We might need to kick it up with Mark's cold. And my hands are cold, but I'm used to that.
My nose.
Okay, now, is everybody done with that screen?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do at our table. Every training session should have a little bit of an icebreaker, and even though you know each other possibly, maybe you don't, I've met people today, okay? You're gonna say your name, you're gonna say how many years in the real estate industry. If you're not in the real estate industry, you're gonna say that too. And then, what is the best training class you've ever attended? And then, what do you wanna learn today? So those are your 4 questions inside of your group. You're gonna have to get in a group and
Whatever.
answer. We don't want them to be back there by themselves either, so.
And
Okay,
there's 3
now,
if she goes there, and then there's.
we're gonna take like 10 minutes at the most. I'll know who my DISC people are in this room with this exercise. So, your name, years in the real estate business, what's the best training class you've attended, and what do you wanna learn today? Any questions? All right, go. Okay. Sherry?
Oh, I get to start?
Yeah.
Sherry Delozier, I've been licensed since 1997. Started out with realtors in Claremore, they got bought out.
Do we need to go ahead and close the meeting?
Went to Rescue Team Properties, did short sales, I've been with Carl since 2015. So the best training class I've ever attended this class before, and I think this is a very, very, it makes you think outside yourself, because it takes you to be conscious, unconscious thinking, and like, I'm really just progressive, what you want to do. What do I want to learn today? Mine was on my thinking and my success is what I put down. So how to go about doing that.
Honestly, I wanted to write down every single one.
I did too, Sarah.
Okay,
I'm Jolyn Buckley. I have been in the business since 2012, so what's what it's 13 years now. I never attended. I mean, I feel like I did every, well, you kind of that typical rainbows and unicorns thing, and everything. So I really don't know if anything. Can't really pick one. You're going for something right, exactly. I do. I think it was just the growth and the possibility of learning something new, and so I don't know if
What do you want to learn today? My focus was step.
like a sponge.
I wish to be a sponge. I'm Sarah Alexander, Sarah Alexander, and I worked at the office at the front desk while I was in college and taking real estate school, and did that for 3 years. Had a couple of children, then got licensed in 2012, and went off on my own. So since 2012, licensed as well. And so 13-ish years in the game. That's not what I've ever intended.
Yeah, so,
I'm like, Bold, that is a killer program, like that's a great one. One that was a smaller version of Bold, back in the day. I feel like it was like very short and sweet and to the point. It was like a killer program, so like over the productivity coach was one time, but yes. Anyway, it's not
Was it
important.
Jessica that taught us?
Yes, but Dave and like Ignite.
Ignite.
Just like quick, like tangible things that you could do and start every single day. So that was like really moving my business forward.
And quantum leap.
So I need to take quantum leap again because I took it when I was young and I found out that I was pregnant the day that the class started, and I was literally like, I'm like, you want me to like plan my future out? Like I can't be past this moment, you know?
In 9 months. How
Yeah.
is it gonna be?
Anyway, so that was great. Shoot, and then what was the last question?
What do you want to learn today from this class?
Okay, so mine, I did move from E to P, purposeful about breaking through my ceiling of achievement. I feel like I'm just like been in the same place for a little while, and looking forward to that.
People have all this stuff going on personally.
Yeah. At the same time, so does everyone, you know? And trust the Lord. You know what I mean? One step at a time. But I do grow. I just like 1% better all the time. You know, really is my goal. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if Terry's in the class, I mean, you know you're gonna learn something right.
I know she was joking that we wanted to fill up the room because we thought it would be fair. I was like, the reason I actually came is because you're teaching, so I know it's going to be valuable if you're here teaching. So, which yes, Terry was like my boss when she was the broker. When I first started, she was hired, and when I worked at the desk back in the day, the big pregnant lady, killer one.
Did you have a shirt that said future realtor on board or something?
The office got Paisley like Keller Williams Paisley onesie.
And I didn't know what to anticipate or say today, so anything you learn.
Gosh, we need a whole separate class for children in real estate.
That's why my girls were like, I never went into real estate because they were babies. And I used to drag them around with me and they were just like, oh my
Same.
gosh.
And that's really the perspective because my kids, they see the opportunity and they're 13, almost 13, and about to be 15 later in the year. And they want to get their, both of them want to get their licenses classes, not as their like main thing, but like to obtain it and like use it as a tool until they're like through college and stuff like that. So I'm like, get in here and do it. I'll like whip you into shape. Paisley was just talking to me yesterday. She's like, I think
If you get done,
I can
right,
email my teachers and tell them that you're a realtor, and like I can start to like bring in leads, and you can pay me. I was like,
no, actually, to your license, I cannot.
because I'm your mom, I can give you any amount of money that I want to, but not in a formal way. Yeah, right. But I'm like, girl, right, girl, you go. Get those leads and bring them in.
You know, it does make a big difference. When you find that, when you're reading the book, by Mel Robbins, and it talks about the different facets of life. You know, when you're young and in high school or college and running with your friends and people get married and have babies and those friends kind of fall off. It's whatever your sphere is at that moment in that chapter. Yeah, so you get like my age, for example, you know, I'm divorced. My kids are growing up in little cities, and it's like, how do you do this? Right? You don't have as many contacts as you do when you're tight. It's just different.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you I can miss it, I don't always recall everything you want.
Where did your girls go to?
Norman, one's in Norman, and she's got my 8-year-old grandson. So if I get to go down, it's a trip to watch him participate in a sporting event.
Okay, is everybody done?
They come in, they stay at the house during that time. And because I'm 3 hours away, it's just like, I can just make it. Oh my gosh.
Okay, good. Everybody's done. See, that didn't even
That-
take 10 minutes.
That route is a long.
What do you think the purpose of that exercise was?
Getting to know each other.
Get to know each other. You don't do that in this
No.
business, do you? Okay. Did anybody learn anything new about somebody at their table? Raise your hand. You don't have to share.
There we go. I'm so
Liz has
sorry.
got it under control.
No, Liz obviously does not.
Liz has got it under control.
Can we
So-
unplug it and plug it back in?
So, who's been in real estate the longest in here at your table? At your table? Okay, there you go.
I'm the senior.
You're the senior.
But I'm the junior.
You're senior. There we go. All right, it's to have fun, it's to get people to like, it honestly takes your brain and makes your brain stop thinking about the path that you're going down. It's called a switch cost. It's something that says, okay, they're gonna make me think about something else. But it doesn't mean what you learned isn't still up there. The key part of this exercise is we wanna make sure that why you're here today matches why I'm here. As the instructor, I've gotta be able to adjust and I've gotta be able to figure out, I don't have to know all the answers, and believe me, I don't. I know everybody may think everybody that's been in real estate longer has answers, but I promise you, there are people in this room that can answer things I know nothing about right now, about a real estate contract. I just call Tara. So, there we go. Or command. So, right? All right, so start here. What is it that you all wanna learn? Give me what you wanna learn today. Somebody, anybody.
Well, like I wrote down E to P was my thing.
Okay.
Being purposeful. I feel like I've been in a standstill for a little while, so figuring out how to move past that.
Love it. Anybody else wanna share? You
Unlimit
don't have
my
to.
thinking and my success.
Your what?
Unlimit my thinking and my success.
Okay.
Sherry?
What? You too?
Somebody else say that?
Me too. I think that.
Okay. Now we don't have to write that one again. Anybody else wanna share? Doesn't even have to be at tables.
For me, I said, to be more confident in teaching in front of other people to allow others to learn.
Mm. Can I just put confidence up there?
Oh gosh, yes, please.
You've been teaching good classes.
Yeah. Like, you've been doing great.
I'm good in front of about 10 people. When there's this many, I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna puke.
Well, thank you, because everybody loves it. Anybody else wanna share? Don't be shy.
Mark and I both said separately, not like conversing E to P, because we've had good years, but like getting to that next level. But I said for myself, as he grows, my side of the business, I have to like grow to keep up with him. So we both said that.
And through that, you gotta do the, think for me, it's doing the things that I find uncomfortable because it pushes me to become what I'm learning as well. So I think through that is, even though don't see myself as the best in something, I still have something to offer in teaching that, even though I'm not the #1 agent doing X or the best person in the office doing Y, that hey, I still have something to offer within that, and it'll push me to be better. I'll learn more by teaching it than I will by just coming to it as well.
So what's a word for that, other than the E to P thing,
I said getting out of, I would say getting out of the comfort zone.
comfort zone?
I kind of feel the same way when I look at it, it's developing professionally so that I have more tools to offer, not only my clients, but my colleagues.
Love that.
So developing oneself professionally
Okay.
to be more value to the community.
And Rhonda does add a lot of value, and she also mentioned.
Sound low.
Yeah, and she looks very professional.
She's your
by the
future
way.
trainer too.
Yeah.
She is an excellent teacher. Excellent.
Be careful. Be careful, you might get put to work. You know, here's the thing, we were.
kids graduated.
No excuses. You know, when you are asked to teach something, #1, it's a compliment. Okay? #2, when you have to teach, you learn. So every outline I put together, you always have to readjust outlines, you have to readjust PowerPoints for the people that are gonna be in the room and the time that you have, right? Which is honestly the hardest point, and we're gonna go over that format process here in a minute. That's gonna be an exercise that we're gonna do. But at the end of the day, just keep in mind, when you teach, you learn, you get better. It builds confidence. Once you're teaching it and you're learning it, and there's people in the room that don't know what you know. Anybody else?
I would put it down as breakthrough. I know we talked about comfort zone, but really that is the breakthrough point of seeing it.
Okay, good. Anybody else?
I interrupted something. Chelsea was
Sorry.
going to say. Go, I wanna hear yours.
I thought he was pointing at, I misspelled a word.
No.
This is the hardest thing for me to go, I misspelled a
It looked
word.
very
Like,
good.
y'all can
You've
point
done
it out.
very
You have my
well.
permission. Tara will call me out, but y'all have my permission.
I'm generally not a good teacher, and it's like a known thing from the people around me. I'm not patient, nor am I good at collecting my thoughts. Like, generally, patience is honestly what I don't excel in. And I'm totally
I'm with
self-aware.
you.
I'm totally
I'm
self-aware.
right there
and I
with
get it. But like I was helping, we have a new team member, Caleb, this week, and he was like, Chelsea, you're such a great teacher, I really appreciate this. And girl, I was like, you're kidding me, you're the first person in human history to tell me that. And then I saw this, and then I kind of learned more about what this was, especially today, and I was like, wait, this is literally kind of serendipity. I needed this today. I need to be more proficient in teaching and like learn like the pacing of it, because I'm great at public speaking. I have no problem being in front of people. None of that bothers me. It's just really creating that space for myself where I can allow myself to slow down and be proficient and be the professional to put myself in a place where I can teach.
The hardest point when you have that personality and you can naturally stand in front of a room is putting the outline together. That's the
And it's
patience.
jumble, because I
It's
can
a
talk forever.
jumble.
And then I get distracted.
And you're talking to somebody who does the Miss Oklahoma pageants and puts on the VA parade, right? I mean, it's not like she doesn't have a skill set.
She's also
Yeah.
excellent at emceeing pageants. I've never seen somebody who can just like command the whole group.
No
Like,
taken.
I'm gonna stop. I'm good.
No taken. All right, anybody else? Because so far, we're gonna cover all this.
Chelsea,
Well,
what was
I
the-
can't
what was
make
the
you
word
have
you said again?
confidence. but-
Proficiency.
Proficiency. Try to
Proficiency
spell
in
that
it.
one.
Is that what you want, is proficiency?
Chelsea's
Yeah.
dictionary word of the week.
She's also has a high vocabulary.
They always tell me, I'm like, you use really big words. And I'm like, I don't
I don't know why.
Yeah. I think Mark was wanting you to write down proficiency.
Oh, did you want me to write down proficiency?
I'll forget.
You guys better spell it for her.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Nailed it.
You got it.
Yes.
My second grade brain was spelling that out, I'm not
I
gonna.
before E except after C.
Huh?
I before E except after C.
Right.
You follow the rule.
Yeah.
You got it. It's
You got
correct.
it.
But in this,
Oh,
in
oh,
this
okay.
instance,
It's EI.
I never thought about that word, but I think about words like receipt
there's all
and
kinds of
receive,
exceptions.
like when it comes back. Okay, anything else? Have we got it covered?
Okay, so I was just gonna expand on the confidence thing. So like what we talked about is that now, in the world that we live in, like if I get one-on-one with you, there's a 95% chance I'm getting the listing,
Mhm.
and you're probably not talking to anybody else, cause I feel, that confident in the situation. Now you put me on social media for that, and I am gonna go through 35 videos and I'm still not gonna post one. Because I'm not confident in who I am
I'm the same
on the
way
other
as
side,
you.
so.
I think, how many would
I
say
think
they
that's our
struggle with that?
generation though. I think that's
How
our
many
age,
out- how many
our
other
age and
people
our
struggle with
generation
that?
though.
Oh,
I
big
do
time.
think it is an age and generation thing,
I do
but
too.
I'm
It
gonna tell
is.
you right now, if, despite the fact that I'm getting a referral from somebody else, the first thing those people are gonna do is go out and see what kind of social media and
Yeah.
other things I have, and they're looking to see for how confident I am on camera for that, because they're probably gonna buy based off of everything that they're seeing on the internet more than they're based off of me getting face to face with them.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about those learning styles actually later, and so many people are being attracted to real estate now because they're checking you out first as a company. They're checking out the people in the company and their social media, right? It's why we have a social media policy, that's there, believe it or not. If you don't know we have one, we do. But we've gotta be careful because people are constantly checking us out. Even if they're not on social media, they're stalking us. I think that's what David does. Anyway, okay. Anything else about what you wanna learn today? This is great.
I wanna know what big rocks are.
Who wants to explain? Oh, Talia's got her hand up,
Okay.
Janine, look out.
So, from the way I understand it, I'm new, so give me grace.
It's not a
I'm
real
gonna
estate
ride that
law.
for about a year. So the big rocks are like the non-negotiable, the important things in your life, your family, church maybe, friends. Okay. And so like if you envision this bottle is empty, say it's the mouth is bigger. The analogy is if you filled it all the way up to the top with rocks, you could ask someone, is this full? And most people would say yes. Then you grab sand, you can still put sand in it. Those are the lesser important things, but maybe they still need to be taken care of. And you've got pebbles, so your big rocks are what's really, really important to you to make time for.
Go to for everybody in the room, if you've not looked at the MREA book, this is the 80-20 world for real estate, right? So if you look at the MREA book, there's a section in there, you can actually just chat GPT it, you can get on Google, you can just look it up. What is the 80-20 rule in real estate? It'll just basically say, it's the things in your business that you cannot pass by. They're the most important things you have to do every day, such that it affects the way your business runs, operates, and how much more you're gonna make being that effective. And the things that are attached to that are like your calendar and all those other things that go with it. So, that's a great question. If I say something that's not clear, please ask. I don't wanna use something that people don't understand, okay? All right. Liz has got watch over the computer. She's probably going, I've got other things to do, Mary. All right, so let's go into a little bit more about what this is about. We know what we want to cover, and I think having information and having, like what we said earlier, awareness might help us be a little more comfortable with what we're doing. So, instructor areas of accountability. Always remember who you are when you're in front of the room, okay? You're an ambassador of whoever it is you represent, okay? That can be you yourself, number one. It can be your company. It can be a group that you are a leader of in the community. Just remember who you represent. Your job is to create a productive, safe environment. Part of creating a safe environment is doing what we just did. Our ice-breaking exercise, it helps you get comfortable with people that you're sitting with. When I ask you to share, but I don't tell you you have to, that should create some safety. We call that psychological safety, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit in a minute. You destroy a company, you destroy groups, teams, and everything else when you destroy psychological safety with each other. It is the biggest error any instructor, leader, team member can make. we'll talk about that a little bit more because it's important. Your job's to deliver the training, and it's the room's job to feed the answers that the room needs. Okay, so all of those things that we just wrote down, probably everybody in the room is like, oh yeah, I need that too. Or, oh, I wanna hear more about that. You're gonna feed yourself the answers. You're gonna give instructions. You've seen me give instructions. We're gonna go up to 10 minutes. These are the questions you're gonna ask yourself, so on and so forth. We'll keep going with that. Monitor your learners. Like if you're doing an activity that I need to make sure you all don't have any questions about, the one we did was pretty simple. So I went to the bathroom. But monitor what you're doing. Look around the room, watch people's faces, see if they're engaged, see if they're nodding off. You have to really watch this after lunch. Seriously, I hate teaching after lunch, number one, because of my energy. I start sinking in the afternoons. But for everybody else's sake, when you get back in a room after lunch, you've gotta do something different that's more engaging with the people at their tables or in the room. And then evaluate your progress as you're going, kind of how are we doing? Are there any questions? Does anybody have any input? Sometimes we say, do you have any ahas? Many times I think I've had a duh, like I know that, but I didn't do it, or I haven't utilized it, right? And then administrative is things like signing up for CE, or making sure everybody has a copy of something, or if somebody wants copies off of the slides that you didn't create, make sure that we ask in the end, gather email addresses, which we need to do, so that I can send you whatever it is you need, okay? Any questions about this? Don't ask me why there's only 7 areas, I just know those are the key areas that we teach.
I do have a question just real fast.
Yeah.
Are you emailing us these slides?
I will, if you want them, we will email.
That way we all don't have to.
Yeah, I'll make sure we get your email addresses.
I think they're on this.
Are they on there? Okay, then yes,
Thank you so much.
me or Sarah will email you these slides. No, I'll. Okay. All right, so let's talk about, when we said the word awareness, we're gonna run through this real quick, cause this is a lot of like brain stuff, okay? So I'm gonna start at the top. If you've been in maybe Bold or some classes that have to do with how you think, you've heard this. Unconscious competence. I know what I know without having to think about it. What is something you do without having to think about it? It's kind of routine.
Breathe.
Breathe.
Eat.
Eat. Oh, Mark says eat. So, unconscious competence. You just know to do things that you don't even have to think about. Would you say in your real estate world, there are some things that you do that you really don't have to think about that much? You just do them? Okay. So conscious competence is another level. And remember, everybody in the room is different on every different topic. So I know what I know when I consciously think about it. When I consciously think about it. What would be an example of that? That's something you know to do, but you have to consciously think about doing it.
When you're writing a contract and you're thinking through each part.
That's a good, yeah, that's good. What else?
I think as the real estate market changes too, it depends. For example, I had a young buyer that wanted the seller to pay for his closing costs and prepaids. And it was, he could get more because of the price of the property, but at 6%, but what do you do with the extra, right? It was only gonna cost a certain amount to close and I had extra, so we were asking to buy down points, right? So, but it had been a long time since I'd had it, and I asked several other agents and we're all looking at each other because we haven't experienced that in a while.
Yeah, good point.
Don't use it.
If you don't use it, you kind of forget, yeah.
CMA. You know the moves. Like sometimes I'm conscious competence when I'm working out. Sometimes I'm not. There's a whole story around that. Conscious incompetence. I know what I don't know. What does that mean? If you're consciously incompetent, and that word incompetent doesn't mean you're stupid, dumb, or anything.
You know, your like flaws or your deficiencies or maybe the areas of weakness.
I don't know how to update the TV.
We know we need to update the TV, but we do not know how.
We'll figure it out
That's
after.
a very good
Prime example.
And then unconscious incompetent, I don't know what I don't know.
Bliss.
What world do you think you should like live in the most? that you should be, where do you think you should be the most? Is there anyone?
I think if it were me, probably conscious competence,
Yes.
because that means you're mindful about what you're doing. You're not just putting yourself on autopilot, you're present, and yet you're still doing it at a proficient level. That makes you a professional.
I would say you're trying to move up. You're always finding the things that you don't know how to do though. If
There
you're
you
always learning, so you're kind of like figuring out that unconscious and trying to bring it up.
Exactly.
I don't know if I wanna be in the I don't know what I don't know.
I
wanna be in the I don't know, but let me find out.
Yes.
There you go.
That's where
Yes.
I'd like to be in that mindset. If I don't know something, I wanna find out, or I can find out and ask the right people. And then, to be cautious and present is so important, like Chelsea
That's the
said.
point that's really that's the point of this screen, is you have to help everybody understand what they don't know first. Like, we're in this room because we had people say, if we're gonna train and we're gonna have agent panels and we're gonna do this community thing this year and hopefully grow the real estate community together as a whole, then we gotta have more people to do this thing, right? So what is it that we need? We possibly need to help people feel confident, get in their out of their comfort zone a little bit, and help with these panels. Maybe even help invite people to panels, right? So we designed this because somebody said, there's something I don't know and I feel great about. Terry, would you teach this? Okay? So that's an example. And yes, you're gonna move up and down this chart constantly. Like brushing your teeth falls on this chart. Like, I know I need to do it. I may not have a schedule for it. And then some of us may have a schedule for it. If we break that schedule, we're gonna feel horrible about it, right? So I just wanted to throw that up there, that everybody is in a different place all the time with different things in their lives, and it's part of the instructor or I'm just gonna use the word leader's job to help figure that out in the room. This is something that everybody in the room needs. Again, this is part of mindset. Everybody has 6 basic human needs. Well, these are 5, but we have 6. Your psychological needs, which is your air, food, water, and shelter. Everybody in this room needs that. We know that. There are people that need safety. They need personal security, which could fall into employment, health, the home you live in, all of those things, but everybody needs safety. Everybody, whether you want to admit it or not, wants love and belonging. You want somebody to love you, you want somebody to love, and you want to belong to something. And the big part about belonging, we use the word community. There's new words we use now. Community is the new one. Community and engagement. We want to love and belong, and we want to feel like we're engaged in something bigger than ourselves. We were built that way. I say God built us that way. Esteem, we all deserve love, self-respect, status, recognition. So many people are always like, oh, no, I don't need to be known for that. Yeah, you do. I mean, get real, yeah, you do. We all need that, whether we want to admit it or not. And then self-actualization. And that is the desire to be the most that you can be. Everybody has that embedded in them. They want to be better. Y'all wouldn't be sitting here if you didn't feel like something we said today would make you better. Now, this is a little bit of how people think. I give Debbie, my friend, all the credit for this chart, because she takes words and then she rejumbles them and they turn out in things like this. But everybody sitting in this room right now has a context. Can anybody tell me what context means? Any ideas? There's a context in this room. Everybody's got their own context.
Like what you're sitting here thinking at
Yeah.
that moment.
Yeah, it's what you're thinking, or what you thought before you decided to come in, or whatever. You have a context about what's going to happen. And then now, once you're in the room and you have your own thought about what's gonna happen, it could be about me, it could be about other people in the room, it could be about the material, like, are we ever gonna get through this material? Can I take a break? Whatever that's thinking. You're gonna get to, I'm assessing it. How is everybody else feeling? What are they saying? Why did Sarah say that? Right? You're gonna be thinking all this. And then you put emotions around it. So this is any decision in your life. Your context, after you've gathered your data, your assessment, you put an emotion to it. Could be fear, could be excitement, could be dread. There could be a lot of things you put on that. Makes you behave the way that you behave. And then from there you get your results. So we could take the listing market, for example, and we could have a context around the listing market. So if you're teaching a class on listings, you're probably gonna know that everybody in the room is gonna have their own thoughts and context about what's happening with listings right now. And then they're gonna gather their data to support their context, because they wanna be right. They're gonna have an emotion around it, could be fear, could be negativity, and then they're gonna create a behavior around it and probably go do nothing about going and getting more listings. Cause that's just how they feel, and that's the right thing. And then they're gonna get the results they're thinking about out of that until somebody helps them, whether it's a class, a coach, a leader in their life, a peer partner like you all are gonna help them understand, no, that's not right. So every class that we teach, we're gonna bring people into our room that have a belief or context or thinking about whatever the topic is. Does that make sense? Does anybody have questions about that? Again, it's just, you hear this in bold in a different format, by the way. I think we call it point card, or we used to call it point card in bold, so. All right, quick on psychological safety, because we wanna get into the format pieces. Some of these slides you do not have, that's why I'm gonna send them to you later, because it's gonna be a lot that you might not ever look at again, and you may not. If you wanna learn more about psychological safety, just get in ChatGPT, use AI, get on Google, and just Google what is it and what's important about it. I think everybody agreed, I saw heads nodding and shaking when I said, you know, psychological safety is what makes the room work or not, because it does. If you make people feel unsafe by making them do things they don't wanna do, ask them to do things they're not comfortable with. I know you probably walked in this room and you saw the tables put together. And I know that some of you went, oh, I'm gonna be in a group. I'm gonna have to talk to people. Right? You do. I mean, I'm even putting the tables together. I even thought about, I'll make them put their tables together. But we didn't do that. So, but even the way the room is set up gives people the idea like, great, I'm gonna have to talk to people. We're gonna have to do an activity. Even some of you thought, man, I'm gonna have to, is she gonna make me train? No, I'm not. So I've gotta be careful to say, here's what we're gonna do, and here's why you're in tables like this, so that we can bring the room together. But there's inclusion safety, which makes members feel safe and belong to the team. Right, so if you've ever been on any kind of a team and you've never felt like you're safe, and I don't mean physically safe necessarily, but mentally safe, to be who you are and belong to the team, that's inclusion safety. The other area is learner safety. Everybody's got to feel like they're okay to ask their questions. So what was it that I said about questions?
There's not any dumb ones.
There's no dumb ones, there's no stupid ones. Now, does that mean everybody's not gonna feel dumb or stupid if they ask a question? No, but it was a way of including you in on that, right? I would love it if everybody participated, but that's never gonna happen, ever, never, because of the screen. Challenger safety. Challenging each other in a room. Has anybody ever said anything in the room and somebody's like, oh, and you feel challenged because somebody else had a different opinion? That is where the instructor gets to kind of like break it up in a nice way, right? Not break it up like you're fighting, but be able to come in and help deal with opinions. And there's a whole, navigate it. There's a whole nother class on that. And then contributor safety. So again, that's kind of like inclusion, but it's about contributing your ideas, because there's never an idea, just like a question, that's dumb or stupid. It's just your idea. And you know what? Your idea might make someone else who doesn't like to door knock or cold call or whatever we want to call those things, the way they view it or have a perspective around it, may go, oh, I might be able to change my idea on what that looks like. Open houses, you can throw it all out there, right? So this slide in itself helps you remember to be totally conscious of the room. Even though you don't know everybody in the room, you can be in a room of 500 people and you can't know everyone in the room. But make sure that you're setting the expectations and the standards for how you want the room to operate under the safety guidelines of that. Okay, so how do you create a productive, safe environment? You set up early, it's why I didn't make y'all set your tables up, right? Didn't want you coming in, working, you're just gonna have to come in and deal with the fact you're gonna have to sit with people. That's an example, that's an example. Greet people. So when people come in the room, we tried to have our music going, but it kept cutting out too, now we know why. So usually if they come in and there's music playing, music makes you feel a little less formal, right? So whatever you do in the room to make people feel comfortable when they come in. I know sometimes we stand at the door and we greet people as we come in, and that's a great thing to do too, but just make sure that you at least know faces in your room. And in a room of 500, there's no way of knowing that, but you may have to walk up and down the aisles in big rooms, just so people see you. I don't know how many people have been in a room with like speakers. I think it just happened at family reunion. Jamie Kern-Lima, she got down off the stage and she walked out in the middle of people, right? Tony Robbins did that last year. He got down off the stage and he's in an arm sling and he's all out in the middle. He's walking up and down the aisles. I don't think he got back as far as where we were, but he, so that was his way of being part of the people. But when you're setting up a training room and you're in it, you wanna make sure if you're sitting like Liz. Like, we couldn't see Liz if she wasn't on that high chair sitting up here. If you're presenting or you're holding a panel and the room is packed and you're short. It's
It would be
Did I
anybody
just
that
make you
lives.
feel unsafe? But think about it, when you're in a room like this, for example, and the table is down here and you're sitting amongst your people and you're down here talking, you've got people in the back more distracted doing this, trying to see you and see who's speaking and what they're saying. So if you're gonna have a panel, have your high chairs like we've got in the kitchen, have them up here, get your speakers in high chairs. If you wanna walk around, like I have to walk, it's hard to sit. If you feel better walking, walk. But make sure that you're greeting people and people get to know you because they can see you. Does that make sense? Okay. Introduce yourself quickly. I started, then I went right back into, hi, I'm Terry Foster Allen. I didn't even tell you my whole story because that's a whole long story to tell, but make sure they know who you are. One thing we talked about Tuesday in a meeting we were in about how we don't wear name badges anymore. Mark's got his on. I just looked over when Bobby, Talia.
Look at you.
There we go. We used to have students have a nameplate, the little fold over tent card thing, sitting in front of them so that we can address you name by name. Like, we call you out and say your name. It's so important to say a name, thank you for that, and all those things. We just don't do that anymore. I mean, we've dropped the name badges and we've dropped the tent cards. So if you don't know people in the room, it's important that you have an idea who they are. Icebreaker. It was a mini needs analysis. That's what we did, just based on 4 questions. A lot of times in a room, you get people up, move them around. There's fun games. You can actually Google or chat GPT, icebreakers for training, and there are thousands of ideas, by the way. I just used the ones from Train the Trainer. And now we're gonna go into E to P. So any questions on it's very simple. Just creating a productive environment. You've got, I was not expecting donuts, but you have donuts. You have coffee, water. Thank you, Ryan, for making sure everybody had water at the table and something to take notes on, right? So, that's what makes people feel good, comfortable, feel like it's not urgent to have to go get something to drink, so on and so forth.
I never thought of an icebreaker being a mini needs analysis on that side, and where you get to also, it creates relationship quickly, because relationship also starts that level of trust.
Yeah.
To be able to go deeper.
Mhm.
And I hadn't thought of it like that. I thought it was just something fun to get people's brains turned on.
Well, it's a little bit of both, actually. Right? Okay. All right, let's talk really quickly about E to P, especially because it's on your list. So what is E to P? It's one of the 6 personal perspectives, I don't know, but it is a typical business person's guide to where they start, where they go in their business, possibly in your life, your relationships, and your family. So there isn't anything that I think I teach or have been a part of that I don't apply to my home life, right? Or that, my family hasn't experienced because of me. Some good, some bad, but all of us have a natural ceiling of achievement, no matter who we are. Some of us think our ceiling of achievement is a lot higher than others, and it may be. And every individual is different. Some of us are gonna hit our head faster than others, and that's okay. It's part of our behavioral style. So First of all, you might get into real estate and you just may come in, you go to training and you're doing all the things. And you keep doing all the things. And sometimes you're not doing all the right things, which is the 20%, but you're doing all the things because anytime you get into something new, you're always operating off your natural style. And I don't know how many have done like a DISC behavioral analysis in here or taken a Strength Finders exam or a KPA or whatever. That helps you understand a little bit more about you so that you know how quickly you might hit your ceiling of achievement. And guess what? I'll never forget, Sherry Lewis told me this years ago. She goes, I hope you hit your ceiling of achievement over and over and over and over, and you're knocking your head on that ceiling so hard you knock yourself off because you're doing it right. It means you're progressing so fast with your impatience. You're progressing so fast that sometimes it's gonna take you going, man, this hurts, to be able to go, man, I gotta do something different. So you hit your ceiling of achievement and you first feel disappointment. And then maybe you don't do anything about it. I just gotta keep going because I gotta make money. I can't let these buyers go. I gotta get that house listed. I gotta. And instead of slowing down and making sure you've got time purposefully planned out to figure out what's really going wrong because your head hurts, you maybe start resigning to some things. Or maybe I shouldn't do it that way anymore. Maybe I should just give up going to that class. Maybe I shouldn't do lead generation. Maybe I shouldn't be on a team. Maybe I should be on a team because none of those answers are right or wrong. Maybe I should quit real estate and go to a full-time job and just be 8 to 5 for God's sake.
Nobody says that.
Nobody says that. Instead of fixing it and getting with someone to go, what is going on in my world? We just keep doing what we're doing because that feels okay. We could go back to our conscious behavior chart and figure out where that's at. And then we just resign from it. And it just keeps getting worse and worse. In fact, it gets to sorry.
So with that natural ceiling of achievement, does it also kind of correspond with what the market is doing? Like where we came into that market where you could just be a warm body and you were out selling real estate, as far as having the skill set.
It does. We just saw the shift of that in the last few years. Like we're 5 years out from COVID. And a speaker at the CEO Summit shared with us, her name was Dr. Robin, but shared with us that it takes literally 7 years to recover from a triggering event. Even if you're doing something about it, and that doesn't mean it's still cleared out, it just means you can handle it better. And that's with conscious work. And some of us don't even know what has triggered us in our life. We might think we do, but maybe we don't. And triggering events or traumatic events don't have to be anything like a death or an accident or anything like that. It can be something that just shook your life to its core and changed it. So the market being what it was, we're just now starting. I don't know if Deanie's done this or not. If you've seen the slides from Family Reunion, Angie was sitting next to me at that event and we were watching the economic slides. And first thing Angie said, she goes, so the next 2 or 3 years are gonna be good, right? We can see from history, it's nothing but history, and it's NAR stuff. All you can see is that curve line going back up. So your curve is gonna go up, price ranges aren't really gonna change a whole lot. But it's gonna be the people that got in this business and are treating it like a true business are the people that are gonna survive. And if they survive and they keep noticing things are gonna be changing, they're gonna do really well. And it filters out people that maybe don't wanna be in the business. So it does make a difference. People, it's just too hard, I'm getting out. Greener pastures, I'm gonna go find another job. And you'll see that even this next generation that's coming up, they want their greener pastures faster. They want it faster. And we have to learn how to deal with that. And then the cycle continues. So just like anything, if you don't do something to okay, I'm hitting my head, and you don't get with somebody, a leader in our market center, a leader in your world and go, okay, why? Why does this hurt? Why is it that I want more and I'm not? And you just ignore it and you keep going, you're just gonna keep going through this cycle below the line. So this is the better way to look at it, as Sarah brought it up. to fix your natural style, you're always gonna have to get out of your comfort zone, so you're gonna have to create focus. You're gonna have to look for models that work. You're gonna have to look for systems that have worked in the past for you. We're in a world that moves so extremely fast. There's something new coming out every day. Oh, that's a great idea. You see another realtor on social media say, I did it this way. And you go, oh, I need to do it that way. And you change what you're doing that's working, and you're not paying attention that, oh, that was working for me. I just need to keep doing that. If your referral business is what's making your business run right now, go double up on your referral business. Keep it running. Pay attention to the people that you know and constantly talk to them. Don't let the other shiny objects distract you. Stay focused. So you get your models, you get your systems in place, you get somebody to hold you accountable to it. That could be anybody in this room, that could be Deanie, that can be Patty, that can be me, that can be anybody that can help you get through that ceiling, and you're gonna get more to that purposeful style. Now the big question here is, does everybody understand what being on purpose means for them? You've gotta define that first. What does purposeful mean for me? What is my purpose? What do I want this business to do for me? And I could go into the big story about why I put that crazy picture of my family up there and why that matters. Because, you know, I'm turning 62 this month, and when I was 32 and we like opened this place and became a team leader for the very first time, 30 years ago was real different, right? So you have to figure out at every segment of your life, what is my next 5 years gonna do for me? Maybe what is my next 2 years gonna do for me? Because one of the things that John Maxwell says is we're moving forward faster than ever. We're moving forward faster, and faster keeps getting faster, and we're not real sure we're moving forward. We've got to figure that out, so we have to know. We've got to go figure out how to do what comes unnaturally.
The other thing I think of that's forgotten is what are we gonna do today that's gonna impact tomorrow? So often we're focused on next week, next month, next year. Well, if I don't do it today, this today's all guaranteed as well.
Yeah.
On top of that, so, and today you could make an impact on your EDP, and I forget that. often,
Absolutely.
Of, take advantage of the moment.
And we're gonna have days we don't feel like it, and we're gonna waste it, and we're gonna, don't let that get you down, just recognize it and know what the next day brings. Okay, didn't get that done today, is it emergency, is it not? If it's not, move it on. Sometimes they don't even move on, you just take it off your list, cause it's not even an emergency anymore. I have a list. All right, so we're gonna do something real fun, so look at this, we're gonna, you know, I said something about recognizing, you know, people in the room, their faces, how they're responding. So everybody stand up real quick, just stand up. You're like, why am I standing up? It was cold, now it's probably getting warm. All right, so, don't say it out loud yet, but what's this emotion? Does anybody know who this character is, by the way?
Snoopy!
Yeah. There are people that don't know who Snoopy is. We're not kidding. Yeah. Okay, what's Snoopy thinking? Name the emotion.
Excited.
What else?
Giddy.
Giddy. Okay. What's he doing here? What's that look? What's that mean to you all?
Get knocked out.
Overwhelmed. What did you say, Sarah?
Stress.
Stress. Stress. Overwhelmed. Got knocked out. Do what?
That looks like Liz on a regular
It's
basis.
Liz. It's Liz. You can sit down. You might not be able to see this. Can you see this one?
He's
mad. Mad.
That was me last night when my buyer didn't show up for his showing.
Yeah.
After I drove 45 minutes to get there with a horse out my owner and had it all arranged.
So what did you feel?
Oh, very frustrated.
Okay, all right. You see all the different terms, that's the point. And then what's that?
Stress, worry.
Exhausted.
Defeated, worried, exhausted, yeah. And then what's
Closing day!
He's happy. Okay,
Okay.
if y'all need it, like, you can like step out now. If not, you can sit back down. Chance to like have a break. Why is that important? Because I want you to know that everybody sees looks on faces, the way people talk, the way they act, the way they respond, the non-response, right? You will have a different context about what people are feeling in the room. Like right now, I could feel like I'm losing you. I could look up at the clock and go, oh my gosh, I've got so much more to cover, right? And you go, what's wrong with Terry? I could be showing you that, right? There's not, we're good, 45 minutes is good. So, that was just for fun, to, again, break it up a little bit, so that you guys can pay attention to know, like, sometimes you can look at my face and go, is she happy? Or is she thinking? What is she, like, when my life group comes over to our house on Wednesday night, it's been a long 2 days for me. So when life group shows up, Janine knows she's in life group, Talia's in life group. They don't know whether to think, oh my gosh, is she like tired? Is she mad at us? Is she mad? Is she mad that we're here? Is her, like, I literally put myself in a back bedroom and let myself just for a little bit. And I'm usually the last one to walk in the room because I'm trying to get centered again to get in there and be happy, right? And then they all make me happy and it's all good. So, it's important to know what's gone on in someone's world, is my point to that, before they are in your presence. So just know life has happened, and just let the class go. Don't be worried to know all the answers. Now, on your table, and the others, this is an easy place for other people to catch up. If we had 3 hours, we would absolutely be taking a get up, walk out of the room, break together, and getting everybody back in. I'm gonna follow the rules since we started a few minutes late. So inside of your packet, you have this. These are the 4 learning styles of humans, and you have it because there was no way to really break this up and put it. I could have put it on individual slides, but first learning style are people who want to know why the topic is important and relevant in the room. So I'm gonna have people in here that are feeling like, why is this topic even important? Why am I even here? This isn't what I signed up for, right? But they need to know. So honestly, when you get ready, if you remember the flyer that went out or anything that you saw or were told about, it said something about training and communication, right? If it would have just said training, part of the room might not have shown up. And there might be people here because we didn't communicate well what it was really gonna be about, right? It's hard to put it all in words. So you've got to be able to draw people to you. I think that's why video is so important, doing reels and videos that we know we need to do, and Angie mentioned that before, so that people might be able to get more information from you in the spoken word, other than what they're seeing on paper. Because part of a learning style is, I don't learn from reading. I do not learn from reading. I learn from hearing and application and watching. And that's most of the universe, okay? So learning style 2 are people who want to know what information they need, like what do I need to do to show up? What do I need to bring with me? Do I bring my computer? Do I bring a pen and paper? Even down to stuff like that. They need to know what they need. Number 3 is people who want to do an exercise to really grasp how the concept applies. We're gonna do that. At our tables, we're gonna do that. So it's not gonna be anything you have to present, but you're gonna work together to create a very short outline. So we're gonna hit learning style number 3. Learning style number 4 is people who want to have a discussion about the what if questions. We've kind of done that a little bit, but we're gonna keep doing that. So what if this happens, or what if I don't understand that, or what if I don't know where to get to the material? We wanna make sure that everybody understands what their resources are. So anytime you determine to lead or teach or train, you've gotta understand where your resources come from. So those are the 4 learning styles, and you've got that in your packet. And it was more for me to just quickly go over for you to have it. We've covered like the brain, the mindset, how your mind works, how people think, and then there are styles to learning. Does anybody have questions about this? Confusion? Anything? I think it's pretty simple. Why, what, how, and what. And then you're gonna like see we're gonna do an exercise. Oh, wait. Oh, I don't know if we have time to do this. Let me think about this for a second. We're gonna come back to that. If we have time, we'll come back to it. I built that in case we had some extra time. And this would be, you just sit at your table and look at your learning styles and go, who am I? And then talk about it. Okay, we'll come back to it if we need to. Oh, there's our break. I was gonna have us take a break. Does anybody, like, do you wanna take a 5-minute break and come back? Can you do it, or is everybody good to go? I'm gonna let the room decide.
Good to go.
Good to go? Okay. All right, so let's go straight into the format teaching system. So whenever, let's say Deanie comes up to you and says, oh my gosh, would you teach a class on client parties? Or would you be on a panel for client parties? Or what do we call them, events, not parties? Event, a client event. Your first thought might go, well, I'm like, what am I gonna do? Just get up there and talk about what I do? Like, what are we gonna talk about? This is one of the simplest training formats to use, and of course, you start with a why. And then there are all the things up in that quadrant. Why are we here? Right, so you'll remember in the beginning, I said why we're here. Whether you're a trainer, communicator, community leader, blah, 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 whatever, right? That's why we're here. The things that you need to make sure you have in your why section. How many people are outline people? They gotta put an outline together. Anybody? So here's my outline. I even have to have it in writing in case I need to physically look at it. You'll notice I haven't picked it up yet. I don't need it because everything I need to know is in here, but I don't trust myself, right?
Because you wrote it down that you remember.
Exactly. It does. When I write or type something out, it embeds it in my brain. So it's a really great exercise. Gave that exercise to a client this morning, as a matter of fact. So the why, and it says why not. The reason we're here, what is the story about why we're here? I didn't give my training story, but I started literally training in groups in 1990 something, before 6. And I mostly taught post-licensing school. How exciting was that? From the book, not like in Career Launch, but from the book, from the Real Estate Commission. And it's hard. Back then, you couldn't make that stuff fun. You had to follow the book. So I had to find ways to make it fun. So that was my first experience, really sitting in a room, and we have quite a few people. And that was my first experience training. So I could tell that story. And then you've got to get the students motivated in that first section, right? So what did we do? An icebreaker, mini needs analysis. That's what happened. And then those percentages are the learning styles of the people. So if you go back to that sheet that we just had, the 4 learning styles, it says 35% of our populations are white people. 22% of our people are what? Okay, so like, give them the content, the information, and then your teaching style is give them data, reports, and studies. How many love to look at spreadsheets to get their data and numbers and facts and all of that stuff? Like, I can geek out on that stuff because it gives me insight. It gives me insight, and it gives me data. It doesn't give me answers, but it gives me insight. And in our world, we're a world of insight. The how, there's 18% of the population that are in the how, which means most of you in this room don't really want to try this right now. You don't want me to go, oh, you won't go, I'll get up in front of that room and teach that. 18% of the room are the how people. They want to know how, but they don't necessarily want to know how in front of people, if that makes sense. Which is the facilitating practice, step-by-step instructions, all that. And then the what if, 25% of the population is what if. Now, this is the interaction, the evaluation. What do you want to learn? What else could I put in there? We could do a survey, like for, if you're teaching for the company, they want you to do a survey at the end. Like if it's being turned in, they want you to do a survey and typically we do we have a QR code? You use a QR code where you QR code it and say, this is what I love about this class, I'd attend it again. I would like more of this from this topic. Now we know what you want, right? And then if you're getting paid to do that stuff, you get to go back again, right? So there's things that you can build around that. So that's where the students get fully integrated. They learn how to apply what they learned that day. And that's what happens at the tables. That's what the breaks are for, and that's what the exercises are for. It's what writing on a whiteboard is for, so that you guys can write. It's what it's not giving you all the information so that you have to write down your information. It's all included in that. So when you're doing an outline on the format system, Roman numeral number 1, why are we here? Roman numeral number 2, what are we doing? What are we learning? Like, why are we here is different than what we're learning. What we're learning is like the content. Why is up here? Why are we learning this? What is the content? How are we gonna learn it? Well, we're gonna facilitate, we're gonna teach, we're gonna practice it. You write down all the things you're gonna do under the how, and then you gotta cover all the styles, right? So then the what if gives you the ability to interact, project what they're learning, catch that we've not covered something on this list. Does that make sense? Okay. So, any questions about this? I want you just to look at this for a minute.
I was wondering how this will, like, that if you were looking at like a disc, does each do you think that, like, you point out like what's D, what's I, what's C? Like, I was thinking like, what isn't that kind of C? If you're really interested in that, I was just kind of curious.
C's wanna know why.
Okay.
So if you're working, if you've got somebody in an administrative position, and believe me, I've learned this. You can't just say, do this. Okay, I'll do that. And then a week later you're going, where is that? And they're like, well, I'm not done yet. Well, what did I not do? I didn't say, here's the day I need it by, but more importantly, here's why I need it. And when you give that person a why I need it, it's gonna be better than you ever dreamed it was gonna be. You go, oh, well, that's cool. You've already done it. It took me 5 minutes. Oh, well, why didn't you do it 5 minutes a week ago? Because you didn't tell me when. I mean, nothing wrong with that. That's just their style. My style is let's go, right? So yes, C is why. Where do you think a D would be? And this is the DISC analysis for people that don't know. Huh?
How?
Possibly how. Like, just tell me how to do it. I'm in. Tell me how to do it. I'll go do it. That's a really great question. That could be a whole nother, like, class.
What would be yes, I think, and what if is I?
Whole nother class. Okay, so we have our why, what, how, and what if. Now, any questions? Nothing? We're good?
I think my other question goes, I learn in all those ways too. So,
Yeah.
also based upon, I think the other part of that goes like, okay, how can I figure out, I guess I'm going to the 3, but, you know, makes me wonder when I'm in those different states. Like, based upon the emotions, where am I gonna gravitate to more? If I'm ticked, am I more in a how or what if or why? Like, that's kind of the next stage of how does that impact where I fit in there?
Your brain's already doing it for you. Here, that's a great question because, and I'm glad you said it because I didn't say it. Your primary, everybody has a primary way, but we all work in the other areas that aren't it's just like our behavioral style. We have a primary style that's gonna control us when we're out of control. When we're in a state of anxiety, when we're not conscious about how we're behaving, we're gonna go directly to that natural style that God created us in. We're just gonna go there, and it might not be right. But because you have awareness, you're gonna catch yourself, and you're gonna be able to pull yourself back in, and we're all gonna learn. We're all part of those percentages, but those percentages are primaries. So that's a good point to know. There's a primary, but then you're gonna operate in the other areas. Can you imagine co-teaching with 3 other people? And everybody had their primary, and they got to teach their part of, what a great class that would be. What a great panel. Any other questions?
It's a good idea of how to put together a panel.
It is a great idea, that is. See, the answers are in the room, not from the instructor. Okay, so guess what you're gonna do? We're gonna do this, we're gonna talk about results, and then we're gonna touch on some learning styles of the generation. So everybody at the table, okay, there's gonna be, y'all are gonna agree on a topic. Okay, it can be any topic. And then you're gonna put the format outline together. It does not have to be detailed for all of you detailed people. We're just gonna need topics, and then we're gonna have 4 Roman numerals, okay? And you're gonna create a mini outline. You don't even have to fill in all the things, like if under the why, you might say why we're here and a story, an example, a metaphor, something that can embed the fact of why we're here, right? Nobody's gonna be right or wrong on this, by the way. This is just a exercise. It does not have to be perfect.
Does that have to be presented?
Huh?
Are we gonna present it?
One person is.
No,
You just said one
You
person
said one
presents.
person's presenting.
well,
See?
okay, let me
Don't
reframe.
don't lie.
Let's
It was right there in
reframe.
black and white.
Let's reframe present. Let's reframe present. I'll tell you more about that later.
Share.
All right, so do you understand it? Roman numeral. Why, you're gonna put a little something, something in there, and then your what, you're gonna talk about what the content is, and then you're gonna like say how you're gonna present the content. Remember, that's what is, what it is and how you're gonna present it. And then how are you gonna let them try it? So you need a little exercise that you can break the room up and let them try it. I'm kinda giving it away. And so, what if? It's the people we need to reach so that they can teach themselves and teach others. So how will you let them interact before you are done with this class? What will they learn from each other? When we get done, we're gonna do ahas, so that's how you're gonna learn here. We're gonna talk about what you learned. Did we cover what you said you wanted to hear? What do you want more of? We're gonna like wrap it up that way. Does that help make sense of it? This is just a trial run. We're just gonna let you do it. If you don't get it done, you won't present it. Black and white, in black and white. Okay, you ready? We're gonna do, I'm gonna give us 15 minutes, but if you get done in 10, raise your hand, get a cup of water, whatever you need. Any questions? So number one, to get your tile.
Nice to meet you. I'm so glad you're
I went back early, sorry.
Yes, yeah, we've spoken before, and I'm so glad you did.
And by the way, this says share, not present.
Yeah, she's so good.
I just want to be right for a minute, it says share.
What topic are we gonna choose?
You're training on how to learn how to make sourdough.
I heard them say
Learning how to make
sourdough, which was a really good quick thought. I was like, man, came up with that fast.
on that one.
Yeah, same.
No.
I
just wanted to eat it. That's other than
I put this together. I use this. This is
How to make a bouquet of flowers, how to put your makeup
I
on.
use this one. So I put it together. See if it'll fit.
Watch how-tos on. I always like to watch how-tos on like how to this thing. You know nothing about it, but I love to watch those like frosting videos.
Really?
So,
My daughter has a son. I love watching cocktails be made.
Let's do that. That's a great one. Gotta make it.
Okay.
So why you're putting, what is the why?
Why? We can tell a story about, sometimes work can be stressful. You have those clients that are, take everything out of you and you're keeping it together.
It's not even like clients, it's just people.
People. And at the end of the day, sometimes
Choose roles, it's probably.
Yeah, right.
You know, as my.
At the end of the day, sometimes you need something to make you relax, whether that is a spirited cocktail or a mocktail. It's fun to have a pretty drink to sit down and relax.
What? We don't.
So what would be your ingredients? Would you rather your ingredients?
Fancy glass.
Yes.
Fun-shaped ice. I think we need a shaker.
Oh, yes. Because we like ours shaken, not stirred.
I like this creativity too. Pulling your creativity out. You're not just doing a soda.
You want something that you can have like
It's pretty, yeah.
sugared rim or something, pink sugar or
She's our pastel lady. She's very bright in all of her colors.
I love color.
She does.
Fun shaped ice.
You have to go check out
Shaker.
her office when you get through.
Then the actual ingredients for the
Garnish.
you know, yes, like fresh herbs and fresh lemons or limes. Your simple syrup. Oh my gosh! For Christmas, I got some simple syrup that has like glitter in it.
Did you do the evergreen garnish? Because I saw something like that, and they were making one of my agents, and she was putting like this little evergreen sprig. It was so
like that's your
imagine how the ice smells like.
Yes.
Like cranberry and evergreen with the sparkle.
With the sparkle simple syrup.
Okay, shaker, fresh
You need your mixer and your
Oh, you're shaking. Well,
your you know, whatever your ingredients are. Your
alcohol of choice. Honey juices.
your friends to share it with.
Right?
Okay, our how.
Y'all ladies doing it?
Yes, we
We're
are.
how to make a
How to make a cocktail.
So you add your alcohol, the juice, then you put it in your shaker with ice, shake it up, then you strain it into your glass with your pretty round, big giant ball of ice or your whatever your fun shaped ice. Then you add your garnish. Oh, you gotta put the salt on the sugar or salt on the rim first. That's the first thing.
shaker container with all the juice. Pour it into your
Yes. Or if you're making a cocktail, you can use the alcohol to be inclusive in this.
I mean, on my description, I just said, predetermined ingredients, add them together, put them in a shaker, pour it over ice, and enjoy.
And then for the what if, like, let's all do this, let's have the class get their glasses out and make their cocktails.
What if nobody goes that, then you gotta.
Yeah. Or for you.
You spoke before I spoke.
Integrating information with your for us here, after the first drink, we're doing more participation. What if we have too much participation?
Oh, that's an excellent.
Right, exactly. Okay, so for our class here, we could, okay, so we could make the drinks together if we had that.
Sarah's very good at that.
You know, things like that.
Be nice to be young. I don't always have the most energy, but we make it work.
What is this energy use?
I know. Okay, so, but we could like here in our, introduction here, we could say, get a piece of paper. For the instructions, draw a square glass. Doodle your ingredients inside.
Yeah, like he doesn't look like he belongs with the rest of us.
Yeah, well, I
hold it
thought,
up and
she's
show it.
not really like the boyfriend, she's very quiet about things, so when I saw her, I was like, as my mother would say, a special friend.
It's like I told him,
Now I'm gonna plan an event for the where somebody comes in and watches us to make
Things together where they taste good. That's an area where I go very wrong. I love to do it, and I'll create anything and use much of anything, and then yes, the outcome's like, well, I'm still gonna drink it, but it's not great.
But we're not gonna waste it.
We're not gonna waste it. We're not gonna waste it.
You're also a big coffee drinker together.
Yeah, the same except for coffee.
You like all the fancy coffees?
I mean, I just drink like black coffee mainly, but if I go to, like, I'll have like a matcha or something like that too. Sent me into outer space when I had one of those the other day. I want you to explain matcha is a really strong green tea, like crushed into a powder, and you mix it with like a milk. So I did like almond milk, but then they do like a flavoring when you get it at the shop and like a foam on top. Yes, probably like twice as much caffeine as like I do it iced, but you can.
I think so. I've always done mine iced.
But
I always like hot stouts.
I'm an iced coffee drinker. Like,
I've never had hot coffee.
you've never had an iced coffee? Is that what you said?
Never had. I'm not a coffee drinker. See, I became a coffee drinker. Never had. I hated the smell. I hated the taste. But then when I started my role in my broker position, I started out early like this every morning. So I acquired and I love the taste of coffee. I can drink coffee all day. Now I can't because I see
Right.
Starbucks.
Same. I gotta really be.
But I just
Cut that off.
I just don't like. I can't have that hand running. That's just gross.
Okay, I want you to just go like white mocha. Okay, it's an easy thing. It's like it's white chocolate, like a white chocolate latte.
Think like a milkshake more of a. I mean, it's not that consistency exactly, but that, you know how you can think of it. Have you ever had a Jamocha milkshake from Arby's? See, so that's the coffee taste and a cold. It's kind of, it feels.
But not that consistent.
It's not that consistent. It's not a milkshake consistency. But the thing is, when it's iced, it's just different. It's not like room temperature coffee that's gotten cold. Like that's like meh. But it's just refreshing. It is really refreshing and delicious.
Challenge on. I want you to write this down. Ice white mocha, and I want you to specifically get it right through. Oh, and nowhere else.
You're supposed to stand up when we're done.
It's so good.
You're supposed to stand when we're done.
Oh, yes? Yes, ma'am.
Hey Sarah, I had a donut. Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are really good. I gotta wait till noon.
They're just from Reese's. That was sweet of you.
Their stuff's so good.
I'd rather go over there and get their.
That's why it tasted like Sunday. We had the church. Church and good old
So I just brought them here. I can't eat
Oh, and, did I say who brought the donuts? Cause I did that every time
Lynn, who was in the room? They did lunch, but this guy walked in. Was it City Street?
And I think he did say there's some donuts
I knew
back
you
there.
did.
So you, okay. Came to the holiday. Tara.
If I want
Tara.
the brown ones.
She's got the brown boxes, so the Daylight Donuts did come from Cityscape.
So cute. She's your, you guys are good ones.
That's right. Oh my gosh, that's like she goes.
I ordered some vests the other day.
Hey, girl.
Good, how are you doing?
Some best.
So we need to get Cooper in here.
Absolutely.
have-
We're gonna be friends.
I have a hilarious Bank of Oklahoma. I used to be a teller for many years at Bank of Oklahoma, and they made us watch this training video that some of the girls on the inside made the video and they showed it like company wide. They made up a rap, and I'll never forget it. This is how it goes. Be okay, be okay. Making dollar bills at the BOK. And I was so young, and I was standing in the back of the room like, nah, they did not just, this is embarrassing for them, but nobody seems to notice, and I'm just like,
with
Why
a-
didn't we
Okay,
do that?
yes,
We
yes.
could have done that.
Mix it.
Sarah with
We can just.
I'm our spokesperson, obviously, right?
Sarah believed that everybody should create a wrap, a
Yeah.
little wrap around your topper.
Chelsea,
I bet you
come
two
on.
pull it off.
She was just wrapping some BOK stuff. Because Jolyn
About wrapping
Dawson
paper.
Jolyn said as a loan officer at BOK, so then that got the whole BOK thing. All right, here we go. Now, I want to just point out, this says share, not present.
So you're sharing. Is that better? Takes the pressure off.
All right,
What's the difference?
My mouth's full.
yeah, what's the difference? Okay, so what you're gonna do, this is gonna be fun, because there's some funny topics that I walked around on. So pick somebody at your table that is going to share the outline that you created. Pick your person, point at them, you know how that goes. Okay, has everybody got your person?
Let's do it.
And if you don't wanna share, you don't have to. Okay, this is just gonna close this little segment out, because it just showed you you could do it. That's what it did. All right, who wants to go first? Mark, Mark, what's your training topic?
So thank you all for joining us today. We're gonna be diving into building the perfect baked potato. Element that you all need to be ready for. We're about to step out in this adventure. So we bring this to you because we've had some eater's remorse in this room.
Eater's remorse.
We've had some cold baked potatoes. We've had some improper salting ratios that have messed up some days. So what we need to take in here are a few different things. You gotta know your number of toppings. You gotta have your layering techniques. Are you allergic to peanuts? You need to stay away from the almonds. There's some other things that go into this. Maybe the type of potato. Is it in Idaho?
Oh
Or
my
was it grown
gosh.
somewhere else? And also, was it steamed, baked? Was it truly baked, or was it really steamed? Makes a big difference. So, close your eyes with me for a second. Close your eyes. Close your eyes, please. Close your eyes. You walk up to this bar. You see the potatoes. They're steaming. You can get a little waft of that salty, buttery smell. Then you see the warm options. You got melted butter. You got chili. Oh, maybe even some ham, some bacon. Oh, it's warm bacon.
Yes.
Not the cheap, crumbly stuff that you get there. You're walking down this aisle, you gotta make sure that you lay these pieces out, because you're making this for your favorite person, whether it's your spouse, your friend, and you don't wanna let them down. Nobody wants to go home with an improperly built baked potato, okay? It's on the line. All right, open your eyes, open your eyes, I don't want you.
Right now.
So, you're ready, you're prepared, now you need to step out there and go attack this baked potato. And you need to know, you social media content creators, how you're gonna share this experience with somebody else and impact their day.
Oh, I feel Oh my God, who thought we would be talking about real estate? Great job, Mark!
Great job.
All right, now we know how to build a potato when we go in there and
He's hungry.
So
I'll have to send that video to Robin. Okay.
That's great.
Who wants to go next after the baked potato?
anything on top of baked
Who
potato.
wants to go to the baked potato buffet?
Roasted. Let's go.
Cocktail.
That pairing's crucial.
Okay, also, our format is a sharing format, not a walk your dreams down the aisle format. So, how to make a cocktail, why work is stressful and people are too much sometimes. Whether it's a spirit or a mocktail, either one, a fancy drink at the end of the day, set you back on your axis. So the what is your ingredients. So a fancy glass, fun shaped ice, a shaker, fresh herbs and garnish, alcohol of choice, or any juices you might like. The how is predetermined ingredients, add them together in the shaker, pour them over ice, and enjoy. The what if is this is we would do together, make a drink together in the room. And in this case, since we don't have those things here, you're gonna get out a piece of paper right now. You're gonna do it. And you're gonna draw a square glass, and you're gonna doodle your ingredients inside.
A square
And then,
what'd you just say?
well, that's, okay.
You're missing it, Liv.
I'm being specific for the kind of drink that I would make is why I said square. So if you'd rather have a martini glass or something else, feel free to. My brain is like an old fashioned, you know, bam, 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 went straight there. It's really easy. Also love a good martini. Maybe you're a martini person. Yes.
With the straw. Hey, got it drawn.
Mine are literally sweaty.
Does anybody want to show us your drink of choice? Your doodled drink of choice.
It's a mojito.
Love it.
Yeah.
You've got the salt on the rim.
Wine. I think I spelled it wrong, but you get it.
Yeah, no, I love it. Yes, I love the big circle eyes.
So what's in there, but it looks like it'll drink.
And that's the point. I love that. Anybody else have a fancy drink?
Oh, there's my fancy drink.
An umbrella.
Oh, margarita. Is it a margarita? Skinny. Okay.
We can't be friends anymore.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Yeah, again, who might think we wouldn't be talking about real estate? Oh, there's my pen. Okay. Who's next? Anybody else want to go? Any more volunteers?
Chelsea Clark.
Yep.
Rhonda is our.
Rhonda.
Let's go,
All
Rhonda.
right, well, I don't have a show for you. We kind of kept it, we're serious realtors, we kept it, we're training another realtor how to fill out a contract. So, why are we filling out this contract? Because our buyer wants to have a house, and we wanna make some money, right? That's what everybody says. So, and then, so what do we need from the buyer? The buyer needs to give us, we need to ask the right questions to get the right information to fill out. The buyer needs to read the contract, what are the terms, what it means. The how is how we fill out each section. Now, if we're with them in person or whatever, we can be kind of going through it, we can be talking through. We need to know, obviously, as the trainer, what the contract says, but to be able to help the new agent understand that and making sure that they understand what they're filling out and why, and then that how to fill out. Maybe we're taking them through opening a opportunity through commands. Maybe we're, going showing them how to fill out each section so that they can get it sent over in DocuSign to their client. But making sure that we ask the right questions. And then what ifs? What if there are multiple offers? How do you handle that situation with the contract? And what if the seller wants to, how is the seller gonna respond? The offer deadline, is there special seller circumstances? So understanding those things and teaching that with them within the contract so that they can be successful at submitting an offer. So that's what we got.
There's a real estate. A very serious one. Now, what was the title of yours?
We just put contracts.
Okay. I was behind
Train a new agent.
What?
It was to train a new agent.
Yeah, well, it was a specifically on the contract. Because we talked about, like when, specifically for, a couple of us here, we started either right before COVID or during COVID, and, we did Zoom meetings with the person who was training us. And they walked us through by doing screen share, how to fill out the contract and what to do and talking it through. So
That's great. There's a whole segment of this about how to train on online or on Zoom too, it's a whole different piece, so. All right, great job. Anybody else? You don't have to, does anybody else want to share?
We were
Yes,
also
yes,
sorry.
yes.
I guess we should have done dessert or something. So we did role playing, why it's important in our business. It prepares you for real life scenarios. It builds confidence and keeps you motivated. Right? Okay. And then number 2 was what it listing.
Like, yeah, what we would use it for,
Okay.
listing presentation.
Yeah. Buyer contracts.
Consults.
Sorry, I can't.
Conflict resolution.
Conflict resolutions?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I didn't write it down. And then
We said the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie. So we show our facts as in numbers. She gave a really good example about how somebody can have or pay for dragonflies that cost them $100 a dragonfly, and they believe that they should get $100 back in return for each dragonfly. So sometimes that's not the case, right? So yeah. Anyways, and then our number 4 was the what ifs. Give unexpected questions. So to be prepared for those unexpected questions.
Yeah.
That's why we role play. And then it helps you from a way to put into action. So it helps you put things into action so that when you're at those listing presentations, you know how to take action.
You're already prepared.
Yeah.
Exactly, be prepared. There's so much that's important about role play. Sometimes you call it real play, but role play, because we don't like to say it out loud, but when you do it more, and you do it more often, and then you practice it. Again, your brain hears it, and you're sitting in a meeting, you're sitting in a listing appointment, like she's saying, and things click in and things come out of your mouth that you didn't know your brain accepted, right? So it's all in there. Great job. Second, serious. Y'all wanna present, or does they call themselves the introverts. You don't have to.
Joanna is not an introvert.
No, she's not.
She thinks she is.
No.
She's identifying as one today.
Amy, I think you need to do the KPA with us. She called herself an introvert extrovert. But you're not being yourself.
You're mirroring.
To gain their confidence.
She's been a good team player.
Presented now.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Great. Now, do you think you could take that little 4-point outline and make up a little session? You can see how fast it was presented, right? So you can do that. I think, Mark, did you and Angie use that? Did you use that when you?
Yeah, it went from Angie and I had met twice, and then we pulled it together in about 10 minutes, I think, the morning of, believe it or not, and then.
Cause we kinda knew.
Yeah.
Up front, what we were gonna do, and it's like, oh, well, here's the best way to
Format it.
format it, yeah.
It's a great outline.
It is a great outline.
And I would totally miss 2 of the sections.
Well,
So
there's
I missed it where I was strong.
you can go in, there's so much you can add, just make sure you're use this as a checklist. If this were in checklist form for me, it'd be great, cause then I can.
Well, and like my husband presents a lot of things all the time, and so for him, he would he wouldn't, spell out the why, what, how, or whatever, but at the end, he would say, so, the reason why we were here today was because of, and, hopefully what you learned was, and, here's how you're gonna put it into action, and then, oh, well, what if you didn't learn anything at all? Then tomorrow, there's another class called blah, blah, blah.
Well, and that is kind of like whatever spin-off that needs to happen, we can spin off this class. I'm gonna get past this stuff. Like, there's so much. I'm gonna close with this, and then I'm gonna kind of close with a little bit of the generational diversity stuff, but because of time, and I wanna be true to our time and the baked potatoes that are sitting out there that might not stay warm.
That would be horrible, Mr. Mark.
We'll let Mark lead the baked potato.
Yeah.
He can instruct as he goes through. Is not just, is it how people think that are in the room, or their behavioral styles and how they act, it's when they were born in the world they grew up in, and not to stereotype by any means, to say, because you were born in this segment of time, you act like this. Because so much of how you act is how you were raised. I mean, it's parents you were raised with. I use this as an example all the time. I was the baby of 5. My dad was 45 when I was born. I had World War II parents. My friends all had hippie parents. So I had a little bit of the very conservative approach in me, and my friends literally had the woo, do whatever feels good parents, right? It was very weird growing up. If I would have understood that then, if I would have even understood this better when Taylor and Tara were growing up, it would have helped me more. Now I get to practice it on our grandkids. The material that we don't have is the alpha generation. They're just gathering that. That's the generation that's coming up. Right now there are 5 generations in the workforce. Believe it or not, we still have people that are working, they're in their 80s. I mean, my goodness, Mom was 90 when she was still doing MLS searches. So I think we took that away from her at 91 when she was falling asleep in open houses. But that's a whole nother thing. She was a legend.
Oh, shouldn't laugh. We're all gonna be there one of these days.
Yeah, that's you know your mom's
We all
driving
hope to be there one
129. Yeah, they would report her to me. Yeah, she still has her license and she's on her way to the office. So basically, we all have different people in our lives as we lead, and it's our job to not only understand ourselves, but understand who's around us. And we know that the real estate generation is getting a little younger because of, they don't wanna go to college, they don't want college debt. Like I said earlier, they wanna get in, they wanna get fast, they wanna get to their goals quicker, and if they don't like it, they'll just switch. Like, they're a different generation than I grew up around. Was you get a job, you go to work, you support your family. Happiness was a side note, even back in the day. It didn't matter if you're happy or not, you needed to do what your talent said you're gonna do and go support your family. And in my generation, we had a lot of unhappy workers. I mean, they did it. They got up every day and they did what they wanted to do. Were they satisfied? Were they happy every day? Did they love their work? Maybe not. And now people are like, you gotta love what you gotta do, so you just go figure out what you're gonna do. So I have to be careful how I think about, what do you mean you don't have a job? There's a restaurant over there with a sign, and I have to be careful with the way I think, because that's not how everybody else thinks. And part of, I'm gonna give you every generation has a different paradigm, meaning they were raised in a world that was very different. I was raised in a world where you had to get up and go change the channel on the television because there were only 3 channels.
2, 6, and 8.
Yeah, 2, 6, and 8, yes. You had to get up and change the channel. I did not get immediate information. Anything you want, anything your child wants, anything your grandchild wants, if they've got access to a phone or a laptop or a computer, they can go look. And Lord knows what they can look at, right? So this generation that's coming up was in a world of war, gun violence, things moving fast and faster. And their expectations of what they know they can have is very different than even the ones before you. Like, it is moving fast. So, oh, you can't see the top of that, it's blacked out. Sorry, I don't know why it's that color. This is the builder generation, the boomers, Gen X, or busters, Gen Y, which are millennials, and then the homelanders, which are the ones that are coming into the workforce now. Can y'all see that at all, that writing back there? Okay.
Barely.
If you move like a certain way, you can kind of see it.
Well, when I moved it from PowerPoint to, yeah, that's what happened. It just hit me. That's the error that it gave me. You'll have it. I'll make sure you have it. There is a book called, it's Dr. Tim Elmore writes books. I've got 2 of them with me if you want to see them. And there's a whole chart is inside of that book. And, it's interesting to go study how people think. So there's the era you're born in, so you can find your era, and then the paradigm that your life surrounds you with, right? So I'm in the boomer generation, and my life paradigm supposedly is I deserve better. And meaning I'm gonna work, I'm gonna do what I need to do to get what I need to have, because I wanna have better so that my family has better. And that's kind of a typical paradigm for me. I'm happy, absolutely happy and thrilled with what I get up and do every day. But we have this little bit of I deserve better because my parents put all their money back and didn't spend a dime. I didn't see them enjoy life, have vacations, go do experiential things, and I deserve better than that. My family deserves better than that. It's kind of the way I think. And then your attitude towards authority, this gets really funny when you start reading about it. Because my parents told me all the time, you respect everybody. If they're older than you, you respect them. Okay, so we did. We just respected everybody. My generation is kind of like, I can replace them. I'll just keep doing my work. And I do have a little bit of replace them in my head, meaning I want to do that when I grow up. Or, man, if they're not doing their job in my world, maybe it's easier just to replace them. That's what my generation thinks. It's why you see a lot of hiring and firing going on. We're aware of that, so we give people the benefit of the doubt. We create system tools and models for people to succeed versus replace them. If you wanna be with us, I want you to be with us kind of thing. But you can see, like, even down to the millennials, they are choosing their leaders. The millennial is the biggest and strongest generation right now in the workforce. They've outpopulated all of the rest of us. And they get a bad rap, but they're the ones that are the trailblazers right now. They are going to be our bosses, my boss. They're gonna be leading me probably from here on out. Especially if we're looking for the next generation of real estate leaders, which I am all the time, in this next generation that's up and coming. They're going to choose Deanie, they're going to choose me, they're going to choose you for real estate. Like, they're going to choose their leaders, and so you wanna be the leader they choose, because that's their mindset. So even to the Generation Zs, they think they are not even sure they need leaders right now. It's why they're getting in real estate. They want mentors, but they're not sure they need a boss. That term would be better to use, boss. They're not sure they want a boss. I'm not even sure their parents can boss them at this point. There's Robin, I told her so I'm gonna make sure you have,
Ooh, fancy.
oh, that was fancy. I'll just end it here, and we can do a class on this generational stuff, cause it is so fun and it's geeky and I get you involved in it, but to connect with people, you gotta read them before you lead them. So don't just say, I'm gonna go lead people, you gotta know who you're leading. You can't ask them their age, but you can guess what generation they're in by studying all of the paradigm shifts and their actions and what they do and what they want out of life. And you can kind of change yourself a little bit, make adjustments to meet them where they are, okay? That's where we're gonna stop, because we're not that part is a whole another 2 to 3 hours, so.